Hello guys, today I would like to review my printer, my 3D printer that is actually a Prusa i3 Mark III that I bought not so long ago. So first I would like to talk about the assembly process and the instructions. After that I would like to talk just a little bit about the printer's functions and things I encountered while printing. After that I would like to talk just a little bit about my custom prints, only these two. So let's just jump in and yeah. Okay, so about the assembly of the printer. Well, you get everything in bags or boxes with codes or some description on them. The parts are easy to find. You get tools and you get an instruction booklet that is actually pretty well made. So let me open it up. I hope that you can see everything. And they start telling you about the tools you need and how to assemble these. By the way, you can find this booklet online on their website. But what is really nice about it, that it has the instructions with photos, some description, and is actually very similar to a Lego one. I did actually get a Lego one out, so this is a soft with camo. Yes, I do actually own this. Yeah, it's behind me, but it's not the point. I don't want to brag about it. But similarity, I mean, you assemble the sub component or whatever and you place it onto the thing. Back to Prusa. So here you have this, you assemble it and then you bolt it on. So it's pretty easily understandable. Okay, so the assembly process, if you follow exactly this book step by step, you can't really fuck it up. The only thing that I did do wrong is I put this like 90 degrees turned that way. It doesn't even matter, it doesn't affect the printer, and yeah. So what can I say about the assembly process as final words? It was a fun thing to do. It did take quite a while, a few hours to be precise, but it was pretty much, how should I describe it, like building a Lego set, but a bit more motorized and mechanically oriented. So about the printer, they said it's Blythe Smart. Well, they weren't wrong, because this is pretty much a CNC machine, and the software or these automatic functions that let's say automatic homing or something like this, it is actually very important for the machine, because you see you can move this thing or on pretty much every axis, and after that if you turn it on, the machine doesn't know where it is in space because of how the encoders work. So as the motor rotates, they count how many slots did that thing move, but they don't remember, yes, this is actually 2 centimeters that way, 3 centimeters that way. If you shut the power off, turn the machine back on, it doesn't know where it is. It can be there, it can be there, or it can be actually there. So it has automatic bed scanning function, so the bed is heated but fixed. I did see on many cheaper 3D printers that you have some screws here that you can level the bed with. This does it automatically for you. Other important features or smart features, I would call a filament sensor that is actually somewhere behind there, in there somewhere. There is actually a power failure recovery, so if you pull the power cord out, the printer will keep on going just for a little bit so it can retract the head and move to the side. So I didn't have to use this feature for now, luckily, but anyway, it is recommended to use any kind of these machines with a UPS or backup supply. Yeah. So other interesting things is that they added this inductive sensor somewhere behind there, and that actually senses the bed. It doesn't crash into it from what I think it does. So yeah, let me turn on the printer and show you just a few interesting things. Okay, let's see. On the info screen or the home screen, there are actually two different temperatures, one for the extruder, one for the heated bed. That is actually really nice to have. Other thing, for the z-axis, it actually says 0 for me. Yeah, don't want to move it on z-axis. Progress, percentage, something like that, when you're printing off the SD card, and how much did the printing process take, or time elapsed here. By the way, they include an 8 GB SD card when you buy this printer. They also include a bag of Haribo, you know, the gummy bears, and they include a filament. So let me show off two of these auto calibration processes, because in case you are a 3D printing noob just as I am, these functions will be very useful to you. So let's say calibration, auto home. And let's try a Z calibration. So that thingy, when it was poking the bed, that is actually scanning the bed and looking if it's level or not. That is one of the most important features that I was looking for when I was buying a 3D printer. It's kind of like a basic thing that most 3D printers should have. So yeah, congratulations to Prusa for implementing that thing. There is the one interesting thing, because yeah, you can copy models on your SD card and print them from there, but you can actually connect the printer to your computer or laptop. But unfortunately then, it doesn't say percentage, it doesn't say the elapsed time, and if your computer goes to sleep, the printer doesn't have a memory, at least I think it doesn't, and it doesn't save the G-code in it. So it's like streaming the information, the G-code, live from your laptop. So if something happens to a connection, the print will stop. And I did keep this thing on a purpose, because it did crash into it. I left the printer because it was like 3 in the morning and I was printing this shift knob, and I went to sleep, left the printer running, but my computer went to sleep and the printer crashed. It is very good that it has crash detection. That means it did stop, and after that, after some time, it did deactivate the heated bed and the extruder. So those two are actually two important features that I love having in my 3D printer, because it does save me some time and hassle, and it eliminates some possibilities for accidents or the whole thing burning down. So let me show a manual control for the axis, in case you don't want to pull them up and down, especially the z-axis, because you can rotate these by hand, but then it can be crooked and your prints won't be level, and you will need to recalibrate it. That is why the calibration is so important. So Now I can move manually the axis. So if you want to read about all the other features that they included into this wonderful little printer, go ahead and visit the Prusa website. I will have it linked in the description. And now lastly, I want to talk about a few things that I printed, how some of them failed, and what can you print after assembly. So the first thing I printed, well, after some calibration prints, because the printer has some calibration prints, like something like this, and you check the height of the print. So yeah, this was the first thing that I printed of the SD card. They actually include a few models. I think they include a frog, these two, and a lot more. And they also have it in multi-material. So if I would get like other filaments, this can be another color. Very nice. So this was the first thing I printed, and this is the second. After that I started designing a cable holder chain thingy. So this is the original part, and this is what I modeled after it. So these chains are used to keep cables in place in industrial equipment, mainly CNC machines, or basically something that has a moving head on a, let's say, fixed axis. So if this x-axis would be fixed to a top, like in a printer, it would have a cable going from there to there, because when the printer head is moving, you can't give it a fixed length. So it needs to go after, and it wraps or moves. So these things are used to keep all those cables and pneumatic tubes from tangling up. So this is my first custom print. These are the links. But before getting to printing it successfully, I had two failures. This is actually a bit better part, but this is my first successful print, and I did keep these. This was a failed one. So the problem here was the part lifted from the bed because the surface area was too small. Same with this one, and I did retry that a few times. So after that I thought, let's try to print it like so. As you can see, it did work, but it didn't came out pretty well. So after that I did modify the surface area here to be bigger, and I added a skirt. If you can see, this skirt is not actually attached to it, or attached that well. So after that I did modify these, and the skirt is attached almost on 4 sides to the model, and that held it in place. And I could successfully print 4 of them. I actually did 1, and after that 3. And this thing here is called support material, because you cannot print in thin air, because we still have gravity. So that's the idea behind that. Moving on to my second print, a shift knob. The idea behind this was to try modeling a complex shape. As you can see, it's pretty complex, and to include a funny thing. You know the joke when they are drag racing, and one car goes backward when the light goes green. So they usually joke about, what, did you put it in R for race? That's pretty much the idea behind this. And this actually fits my focus pretty well. Unfortunately, I did need to cut down on the shape here because it isn't that comfortable. And I did keep this as a reminder, and I can show the infill. I think this was on 30 something percentage. So the infill percentage doesn't matter really that much. I did keep this because this is support material. Just as I said, you cannot print in thin air. So this was inside of here, more or less. And this is like the waste material that you get after printing. Yeah. So yeah, these are my two prints. I will have a few more prints coming up. One would be the supports for the 6CD CD changer, if I can fit it on the bottom of my height adjustable passenger seat. The second one would be a switch, and I do consider printing something like this but modifying the shape a little bit. So this is a mirror cover. I do think the model isn't looking that great. It's decent, but it can be improved just a little bit. So yeah, unfortunately I still don't know how I can model something like this efficiently because of the curves and the lines and because of how it looks. So yeah, this is a project for another time because it's a bit complicated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will not make too many 3D printing videos. I will present some of the prints and I will assemble 3D printed stuff on the channel. But just as I said, this is not a 3D printing channel or just a 3D printing channel. I do like to assemble, to create, and to take a look at stuff. So that's the idea behind it. This is a very, very good tool to have if you're a DIY guy just like me. And for the price, it is really good. So again, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you have a great day. And for free, out.